All right. I did a post earlier, and I went to to post it after I did a live video earlier, and I went to post it after I'd done it, and somehow it just vanished. So I wanted to do it again really quick because I wanted to get it out there. So I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna do it again right now because I just want to get my opinion out there. It has to do with the gold coins I posted yesterday. The gold coins that I own. I got a couple emails from people who were wanted to give me their suggestions about keeping my wealth to myself due to the fact they were worried that I could be putting myself in jeopardy by being robbed. I just wanted anyone else that might be thinking that or wondering why I did that. I don't know. I guess I'd like to put it out there why I did that exactly, because I don't know. I don't feel like I have to explain myself. I have a couple of people that will probably tell me that I shouldn't have to explain myself now either, and I shouldn't. But when someone asks me why I did something, I don't have the opportunity to respond until someone asks. So I have no reason to tell anybody why I did it until someone asks. So, so actually, I posted the pictures of the gold coins that I bought probably about 8 years ago. I posted them yesterday. What triggered me to post them was the season premiere of Gold Rush, which occurred yesterday on the Discovery Channel. Probably the most watched show the Discovery Channel has ever had, Gold Rush. So the season premiere was yesterday. So that's what made me start to think about it. But that wasn't why I was at the bank in my safety deposit box either. I didn't go all the way to the bank to get into my safety deposit box because Gold Rush premiere was that night. So for anyone who's watching these Facebook videos and who's concerned about someone coming to rob me here at my house, I can pretty much assure you that there's nothing here I don't think of any value that anyone would really want to steal. Those coins are in the safety deposit box. I don't have any coins here. I have no jewelry here. There's no women living here, so there's no jewelry. There's I don't even think there's any. There's some change. There's some Norwegian money. There's a bottle of unopened aquavit from Trondheim, which is there's probably not any of those in anywhere in Michigan. It's a very rare bottle that I got in Trondheim. So if anyone comes here and tries to rob me because they saw my gold coins on Facebook, right now I'm up in Charlevoix. My booth's up in Charlevoix with all my tiles on it, and it's not locked up, so I guess none of these tiles here anyone would want to steal. It's artwork, So it brings up an interesting question as to why I would post the gold coins on Facebook, because I was actually into the safety deposit box to see how much cash I had there, because I'm going to be buying out my sister to pay for my grandma's house, because my grandma died in March. So I was just trying to figure out how much cash I had left, because I keep some cash in the safety deposit box right now. So the reason why I posted the gold coins was namely because of Gold Rush premiere on TV. And coins are cool, I think. My great grandfather in New York, he had a coin collection, the most complete coin collection, U.S. coin collection in the whole United States, and he gave that away to a college. I think it was valued at $5 million or something, and he gave it away for a college to build a swimming pool. So, one of the reasons why I have coins is because it's always been something interesting. My parents taught me, my dad taught me to collect stamps, to collect coins. I don't know, something that I just did when I was a kid. So it was like the coin that I've always been interested in coins. So 8 years ago, after saving my money and not having really anything, happening in my life. Like, there's no need to buy a house. I don't know I didn't know what was happening. I didn't have my gallery in Fishtown yet. So I bought some gold coins because gold was going up and wanted to have a little bit of gold. So that's why I had bought the gold coins, and I just held on to them ever since. Several of them were gifts too. So that's what the gold coins were all about. But there's another reason why I post the pictures of the gold coins, and that has to do with kind of the old statement when people will say starving artist. I used to hear that more in the beginning when I first started doing art fairs and galleries. And anyone who this shirt is from the Traverse City Zombie Run. This is from Norway, the Thor's hammer pendant I got at a silversmith near the Arctic Circle. So and actually when I walked in there, he had bluestone in his display. I mean, it wasn't Leland blue, but it was slag glass. It looked just like bluestone. So it's in Norway too. But the reason, one of the things that I've told myself, wealth. What is wealth? If you drive a fancy sports car, if you have a house on Lake Michigan, if you wear expensive watches or jewelry, if you go out to eat at fancy restaurants, if you buy fancy wines and have them stored in your house, if you have a cottage up in the UP. Now, those are all different forms of wealth. So whether or not I drive around in a fancy car or post $80,000 worth of gold coins, I mean, what's the difference, really? Especially, what's the difference, especially considering that the gold coins are in the safety deposit box. So I guess if someone's really worried that someone's going to rob me up here in Suttons Bay, it's going to be someone that's really crazy who is guessing that I'm lying about the gold coins in the safety deposit box, or someone who has somehow heard a rumor that I have gold coins in my house from Facebook. But a rumor like that could start just as easily if someone drives around in a $100,000 Mercedes Benz, and So I mean, I don't see the connection between showing gold coins in the safety deposit box and someone coming here and robbing me. And you want to know what? Come here and rob me. If you kill me, the price of my tiles, the value of my tiles are probably going to become like unbelievably, wealthy and very famous. If I'm killed by a robber, especially if I don't have any gold coins here, because I'm sure the gold coins would then become even more valuable, and then since they're not here, they'll be at the safety deposit box in Leland. They're in Leland, so whoever wants to steal them, you can go blow up the safety deposit box in Leland. And out of the 200 boxes there, maybe you'll find my coins before the police come, maybe not, I don't know. I didn't tell you guys my social, what is it called? My safety deposit box. I didn't tell you guys my safety deposit box number. I fell a little bit short of doing that. But there are some gold coins in a safety deposit box in Leland. And go for it. Go blow up the safety deposit box. Go blow up the Leland Bank, and maybe you'll find them in time before the police get there. But so for everyone who's thinking that I'm nuts for posting those on Facebook, like I said, wealth, it can be measured in many ways. And if you're going to be canvassing anyone in particular who you might want to steal from or rob, I don't know. I bet you that the millionaires that are up here are probably more likely to have a lot of money cash somewhere stored in their house over me. That's my guess. Or at least something a little more valuable. I could be wrong, but I mean, I guess it's a compliment if someone wants to come and rob me. And if they come and beat me up, if there's just one of them, because I think if there's just one of them would probably come with a gun. So then I'm really in trouble if there's just one. But if there's more than one, I'd probably get beat up. And if I get beat up, then I'm going to I'm going to get on Facebook and show everyone how I'm beat up, or I'll be in hospital. It'll be on the news. I'll get even more publicity, so the value of my tiles will go up even more. So I guess I'm in a win-win situation no matter how you look at it. Thanks, Shabbat's. We really appreciate that. I hope your cat's doing well. So that brings up another question: is besides the fact that Gold Rush was premiering yesterday, the season premiere, and that's why I put the gold coins on the safety on Facebook from the safety deposit box in Leland. Because I drove to Leland, it wasn't just because I wanted to waste time driving to Leland to get the gold coins to put on Facebook for the premiere of Gold Rush. I had to go there because my grandma died in March, and I'm going to be buying out my sister to pay for my half of the house. So I'll have my grandma's house in Traverse City. So that's why I was in the safety deposit box. And I hadn't been there in over a year, so that's why I posted them on Facebook. But besides the point, let's get back to the question of wealth here really quick. And my tiles, and what makes tiles what makes an artist well known? What makes an artist well known? What makes his art valuable? These are all questions that should be asked. Because it isn't some bolt of lightning that hits somebody and then all of a sudden they can. It isn't because a bolt of lightning hits somebody and all of a sudden they can start carving tiles or making paintings or, seeing the Mona Lisa in a piece of breakfast toast that they sell on eBay for $100,000. It's not that doesn't make the artist. I think there's many factors that can make the artist, and one of the things that I have to feel like I have to overcome is the whole notion of being the starving artist, because the questions you're asked and the things that people talk about when you're first starting your business as an artist, a lot of them revolve around this notion of the starving artist. And they're not just directly saying that. There's also indirect things that they're saying. People handing you cash, thinking you're going to pocket the cash and not pay sales tax, which I never do. If you give me cash, I put it in my bag and write it down how much cash you gave me, and then I charge the tax, figure out the tax out of the cash. Never once have I pocket cash from a customer. I promise. I never have. So, what I think one of the things I think that can make an artist well known, make his art more popular is the wealth. Do you want to buy art from someone who doesn't have any money? Do you want to give your money to someone thinking that they're a beggar in some way? And therefore you should buy his art? Because I don't want to be known for that. I don't want anyone to buy my art because they think because they feel sorry for me or they think that they want to, throw me a bone or something. Because they have like, 7 digits in the bank account, house on Lake Michigan. I don't want people to buy my art because of that. Not for a second. I'll take their money, but I don't want to buy. That's not why I do this. That's not why I go to Norway and bring 24 tiles with me and carve tiles all over Norway. That's not why I spend most of my time usually carving designs that you guys ask me to carve. That's not why I do that. I started my business for many reasons. For number one, the family tradition that my dad started, my mom started. Number two, I personally enjoy making ceramic things because I like the science and the chemistry and the whole process of carving things, and it's kind of an industrial kind of quality of making tiles, stamping them out, having these designs you make and making multiples of them, glazing them, painting them, going out, selling them, creating a collection. I used to collect baseball cards. In my mind, it's like I'm making almost a collection. So I have this collection of art. So it's a hobby. It's a tradition. There's many reasons why I make tiles. It's not. There's not this emotional connection that a lot of people have to artwork. That another question that I get asked often is, how can I sell my art? How do I sell it and not feel sad, or how can I part with it? Is it difficult to part with? Not at all. Never has been. My dad used to make giant pots. He became known because he made these giant pots down at NMC in Traverse City. Pots that were so big, no one could believe he could make them. He had a show with his giant pots, and he partied with those. I've never heard him once have difficulties partying with anything. So I was raised by a family, by a father, my mom. She was involved in making artwork, selling it. My parents never had problems selling their artwork. So we weren't in it for this emotional detachment or emotional connection. Making ceramics is different than a lot of types of artwork. It's not necessary. And in fact, the way I do ceramics with the painting and the drawing, what I actually do is many times, because a lot of painters, a lot of sculptors, maybe watercolors, paintings, you do run into people that are doing these things for emotional reasons, and it is hard for them to sell that painting that they took so long to make. But that's because their mind is in a different place. They're not doing it for the business. They're maybe exploring the whole idea to do it at all. So when you're 7 years old, 8 years old, like I was, and you're making little animals and you're selling them, little pinch pots in your dad's pottery, you're never exposed to this notion of doing art for some emotional, some type of therapeutic reason. Or for some type of, to express yourself in some way. It was business, and it was creating things and selling them and having fun glazing them and seeing what happens when you glaze them. It was fun. It was exciting about that. And I started making the tiles thinking collection. Not because I wanted to be a starving artist. Some people ask me, am I close to my father? Well, first off, I'm carrying, there's the family business. I mean, how much closer can you get to your family? We don't watch the Super Bowl and bump chests and drink a case of beer, but I see my dad, my mom, almost pretty much, every day, every other day, every few days. I make tiles. I'm over there making clay. There's a different kind of connection there. Again, it's not this starving artist notion. It's not this father-son bonding in the shop together at all. Really, that hasn't been at all. When I was a kid, I would get yelled at because I was making too much smoke in the fire because I was throwing little pieces of wood and stuff and putting clay in the fire and watching it explode. And then I'll get kicked out of my dad's shop because I'm making too much smoke when I was a kid. So that's the kind of bonding I'm used to. So what does this have to do with this? What does this have to do with the gold coins I posted yesterday and the whole wealth issue? Well, aside from the fact that it was the Gold Rush premiere yesterday, and aside from the fact that my grandma died in March and I'm going to be buying her half of her house from my sister, I killed many birds with one stone yesterday because I also thought, I don't know what, now's a good time to show my gold coins to make another point about my artwork. A lot of the stock market now is almost record gains every day. We're breaking new highs every day in the stock market, and the whole notion of the stock market, the whole idea of what it is and how it goes up, and people invest and it goes up. That's like a theme of the universe, and people don't even understand that. Thanks for telling me that, Ron. He made about 500 that walking sticks that year, and they're still around. They aren't all gone yet. But the stock market is like this universal kind of theme, believe it or not. And it's how I understand it. No one ever told me this really, but you hear about these kind of universal. There's the chaos theory and the string cheese theory and all these theories and stuff. But the whole idea of you investing in something and then it keeps going up, and that you can apply that whole thought process to many different things, including my tiles, believe it or not. So if you give money to somebody, like some people might be giving my money to me because it makes them feel good because they think they're supporting someone who's a starving artist. And here I am up in Leelanau County, and I'm not in the city, and I'm on the bottom of the trickle down effect supposedly. So I'm not in the fancy art gallery in New York or Chicago. But I'm up here at the very bottom of the trickle-down whole mentality for the trickle-down economics. I think I break that mold somehow. I'm not exactly sure how, but I don't think I'm at the trickle down part of it all. And it has to do with being a second generation. Has to do. And I can't explain it to you, but so the point is that you put hard work into your tiles. You put wealth into your tiles. You donate things. You donate. You share. I share on Facebook. You share in different your ideas on things. These are all things that you do that I do that put value in my artwork the same kind of way that puts value into the stock market, sort of. So what I do is I save my money, and now that we have, and I don't buy fancy things. I don't have a fancy car. I go on my trip to Norway, which is unusual for someone to do. But that's not really that, it's really not that expensive to do that. But that's something that I do. So I go on my trip to Norway is probably the most visible thing that I do that shows that I have some kind of savings. And what that savings is, no one really knows. I don't divulge that at all. I bought the property last year in Bloxburg after saving for 10 years. I'm going to be, my grandma died. I'll have her house. I'm paying out my sister for that. I had the gold coins that I bought 8 years ago. And now I have a bunch of employees that I have to make sure that have a job. So all these things put value into my tiles. And I posted on Facebook not to be a showboater or to be a Hollywood, no one's going to call me Hollywood. Like some people would call people when they were like, when I played college basketball, someone that would showboat and dunk all the time and just be kind of a loudmouth. They were called Hollywood because they did it to be cool, I guess you'd say. So I didn't post the gold coins yesterday to be cool. I think it's really neat. It's unfortunate you can't really share that with people. But it's something to have that gold, that part of the earth, that value there, and be able to have it in your hands, a tangible. It's energizing to know that it's sitting over there in the safety deposit box. There's value in that for me. It adds a little bit to the whole big picture that helps me get up every morning and work. It was why I bought it. It was. Thanks, Dana. I'm going to definitely continue doing what I've been doing. No question about that. So I'm not worried about anyone robbing me. Because my gold coins are in the safety deposit box in Leland. I'm not worried about that at all. There's nothing here anyone can really take. So if some whack job who's just half out of his gourd comes over here and heard some rumor that I have gold coins, I don't even know if he'll be able to really robbers sometimes are really most of the time the successful robbers are really smart people. And they can smell the skunk from a mile away. And they'll be able to tell that, dude, this dude doesn't have any gold coins here. They just know these things. Robbers aren't like the crud of the earth that kind of seep out of sewage and somehow don't know anything and just barge into your house and try to. Thieves are smart. They're sometimes very intelligent, and they're not going to. They figure things out. There's no gold here in my house, so. No one needs to send me any more messages talking about how I have gold or here or why I posted it. But I posted it because I wanted people to see that I'm holding on to the value of myself, which means that the value of my stocks means the value of my stocks. My business is a stock. I look at it as a stock. If you get one of my tiles. In 10 years, if you look back at that tile that you have, there's going to be a value there that you can sense, and it's hard to explain, but it happens. And if you look at other potteries in Michigan that are over 100 years old, there's a couple of them. Their ceramics are worth a lot of money. Palabic pottery in Detroit, they're very valuable. They're older pieces. I do something no one else does. I'm tall, I'm strong, I'm an artist, I'm motivated, I'm second generation. I have so many things going for me that most artists don't have, and it's going to be something special. And then the fact that I'm reinvesting in my own art by saving my money and buying some property and holding on to family houses, the tradition that I'm holding on to, all of that, it's an inherent value that in the long run will be very I'm going to be very smart for having done these things. So by showing you guys my coins on Facebook, that's like showing someone my wealth. It's like trying to keep up with the Joneses or whatever, keeping up with your neighbors. People have a sense of wealth, and I'd like to think of myself more of a, I don't want to be the high roller artist at all. I don't want to be that artist at all. I feel like I'm kind of the I got the grassroots interest that's kind of growing, supporting my artwork. It's unlike a lot of the well-known tile makers in Ann Arbor. I have my own thing going. It's a grassroots kind of a following that I've created because I do something that no one else does, because of all those things that I have going for me that no one else has had. So that's what I'm putting into my artwork. That's what I'm making. I have my Norway connection as well, which I think is another piece to the puzzle for me personally. And as you'll see, my Norway collection of tiles will start to evolve here once I get through all these special orders that I have. And I'm going to start making the Norway tiles that I carved. Probably right after Christmas I'll start doing those. There's a couple that I have to do for orders. The skier, and I did the mermaid. Those were both done on the trips. So then I have my yes, exactly, Ron. Yep. It is. And yeah, and things just happen the way that they do. And you can't it's just funny how it just kind of happens. Who would have known that I would have bought Bloxburg last year with cash that I'd saved, so I have no debt there. And then who would have known that I would have been able to afford to pay off my sister to buy my grandma's house a year later, and I still have no debt. And it's just like, it's because I saved, and like I could have done something differently, and then it wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have been able to do it, or I would have been in a worse situation, or I would have been more stressed out because I would have hadn't saved as much or something. But that's not what happened, and it was because I just knew what was going on. I was aware of things, and same thing with my business. And so my Norway connection is also a part of this whole puzzle for me. The gold coins. Many of those were from my grandfather's. My grandpa's from Norway, and it makes you wonder when I look at the coins that he had, and they're mine now. And you look at them, you see what countries they came from, and even that itself it makes you wonder, why did he get those? Why did he only pick those countries? Is there some reason? Is there something that he thought about that made him think those were special, or were they just randomly ones that he got a good deal on? It's just ideas and thoughts about those kinds of things. So for me, the Norway thing is also growing, and it's something that's going to be. It's another thing that has to do with wealth, in my opinion. Just like the gold coins. I'm going to continue to go to Norway, and I don't know what's going to happen there, but I'm going to continue to go there, and I'm going to continue to, once I make these tiles made for my last trip, I'm going to make more. I'm actually putting the I'm like putting the lockdown on me, and I'm going to stay here in my workshop and like work extra diligently until sometime in March, and I'm planning on possibly going for a shorter trip to Norway in March for a to witness the the fishing, the great fishing, cod fishery in full action up in Lofoten, Norway. So I'm considering that, and I'll if I do that, I think that would be very good for me to do that. A second trip in the winter. Like 6 months out, go every 6 months. I mean, that's what I don't go out. I don't go out and socialize on the weekends. I sit here and work. So 2 trips. I mean, that's all that I totally live for that. I live for going over there now. It's like that's totally what I do, and it's going to lead to something. I don't know what yet, but so I'm just when the doors open, someone nudged me, and they don't, when someone nudges you and no one's hardly ever nudging you, you got to listen to that. So I'm listening to that, and I'm thinking about going over there in March. So we'll see. So I think that's about it for now. But so the gold coins, I'm not worried about anyone robbing me. I thought about it long and hard after I posted them yesterday. Because Gold Rush was premiering yesterday, and because I was already in the safety deposit box, I thought I'd do that. And so I'm not worried about anyone robbing me. They're not here. The coins are. No one should worry. The coins are not here in my house. There is nothing here of any value in that sense. There's no cash here. There's very little cash. Maybe some coins, some tools. No really expensive tools. I try to make tools last forever. So I have nothing here. I don't think anyone would want to steal. So I don't think anyone's going to rob me. So no one needs to worry about me being robbed. And I think what people need to think about is that the investing I'm doing in my tiles. That's what's important. Is the investing I'm doing in my tiles and in my life, which in turn becomes part of my tiles. The designs I make as I travel to Norway. The trip I made today to Charlevoix, bumping into people as I'm delivering tiles to my employee as she sells them up in Charlevoix. Everything I'm doing is turning into something I'm doing for my business. So I'm investing in my business. This is what makes art, I believe, valuable. This is what's going to make my art valuable, is the reinvesting I'm doing in my business. Not the I'm not looking for the I feel sorry people. Oh, you're a starving artist. We want to buy some of your tiles because you're a starving artist up in Leelanau County, and you're at the bottom of the rung when it comes to the economic chain up here with the trickle-down effect. I don't want to be that artist. I'm not that artist. I'm just producing just design after design after design after design after design. There's no evidence of that at all. This is just it's just like a faucet with me. So, and I'm not shutting it down. So there's no starving artist here. The value of my tiles are going up. The variety, the ability of having more employees to help me make more designs. I have a collection I'm creating that have meaningful things, each design, beyond anything to do with me. Right, Dean, that's the goal. Opening up a sport tile art in Norway. Definitely that would have to be the goal. Long-term goal, yeah. So all right, let's leave it at that. Thanks, guys.